It is July 14th, 2025, and we have reports of a UFO crashing into an F-16 from back in 2023. This is Inverted World Live. Welcome back, everybody. It is Inverted World Live. I am your host, Shane Cashman. We got a little bit of a different look. Not that you can tell that much, but this room has been massively redone by Brandon over here. Brandon, say what's up to everybody.
What up?
Like, he made the room look, you guys can't tell. We got to get another camera in here at one point with like a bird's eye view from the top of the coffin lid that we're in. It looks way different. I have a little desk now and I can kind of hang out, which feels great. So shout out to Brandon for doing that. Yeah, dude, you killed it. I just ran over here from IRL. I'm not even used to which camera I have to look at now.
Yeah, you're over here now.
I'm over here. That's me. I just ran over here from IRL. We appreciate everyone who followed me over here. But it's been a crazy weekend. I did get a phone call from the White House. They said I should probably stop talking about the Epstein files. So this is the last I'll be talking about it until probably at some point in this episode when we talk about everything. It's just chaos. It's just chaos right now. People don't know what's going on. People are being told not to talk about it. And then Laura Trump comes out and says, it's more stuff coming out. No one knows what's going on. It's pretty chaotic and it stinks because I'd like to see some accountability. But we do have, well, before we get into the UFO stuff, this is a call-in show for those who don't know. Our phone lines are open till midnight. We will take your phone calls. And for those who are just now joining us from IRL, what's up? Thank you for joining us. This is Inverted World Live. It's a call-in show. The phone lines are open. The link to call-in is pinned in the chat on both Rumble and YouTube. If you have a strange encounter, if you have some kind of weird story from sleep paralysis, UFO encounters, abductions, MK Ultra, we've had Operation Sea Spray. Family of the victims of Operation Sea Spray have called in. We've had all types of calls. The callers have been great. We love hearing from everybody. So if you have any kind of story you want to share with us, share with the audience. We'd love to hear from you. We'll get to as many as we possibly can. If not, if we don't get to you tonight, we'll get to you tomorrow, Wednesday, or Thursday. And if you've heard something that we've talked about on the show from a caller or something Brandon has said or myself, and you have a thought, you think we're wrong, you want to add something, give us a call. We want to hear about it. Where are we? We are in 2025 now, and every day there's some new declassified document about UFOs and our military. And it's not that rare for stories like this because they have been coming out for a long time. People are obsessed. Well, some people are obsessed with it. I would say on a larger scale, it seems like people don't really care all that much. And maybe that's why we're seeing a lot of these bigger events happen, like the Boogosphere conference or all these congressional hearings that unfortunately seem to go nowhere. But now we have a story about a UFO allegedly crashing into a military jet. I'm going to read this for you guys. This is from Fox News. And the headline we got here is Military Jet's Mysterious Collision Raises Questions About Advanced UFOs in U.S. Airspace. With a little quote, been here all along. Defense Department documents reveal hundreds of unexplained aerial phenomena near military sites, including nuclear facilities. And for those of you who follow these types of stories, that would not sound like anything new. We have many reports over the years of UFOs appearing above nuclear facilities. Even there's some reports of UFOs allegedly shutting down nuclear arms. And most of the stories we do hear, or at least hear about in congressional hearings, are all from around military bases. And many of the reports over the past 4 or 5 years that we've seen in the Congress have only collected sightings around military bases, which I think is pretty limiting and also shows me that it's probably something more like a Lockheed Martin situation. And before I read, always keep in mind that we also have that report recently about the Pentagon being caught lying about alien stories to cover for Lockheed Martin technology. And that's not to say there's not some sort of non-human entity out there, but I do think a lot of the things we are seeing are man-made. Anyway, declassified documents revealing a United States military aircraft was previously struck by an unknown flying object. Shout out to Fox for using UFO instead of UAP, but I'm sure they'll use it later. Is raising eyebrows as experts point to other unexplainable sightings suggesting otherworldly technology flying within the country's airspace. The incident occurred in January 2023 after an unidentified object collided with the left side of an F-16 Viper jet participating in training exercises near Gila Benda, Arizona, an Air Force spokesperson confirmed to Fox News Digital. The flying object struck the clear canopy at the top of the aircraft and was first spotted by an instructor pilot sitting in the rear of the plane, officials said. An initial investigation determined no damage was done to the near $70 million jet, with officials ruling against a possible bird strike. You can't rule out the bird strike. So, I mean, they can, I guess, but I always think of Sully Sullenberger getting hit by geese, landing in Hudson River. Not alien, as far as we know. Authorities ultimately determined the aircraft was struck by a drone. Okay, but the location and operator of the device have yet to be determined, the spokesperson said. I love how they buried that. But, you know, again, why I read these stories is it's fascinating when we see them populate the mainstream. Why are they doing this? It's fascinating to me, and I think it is to a lot of you, as we see this narrative being ramped up over the past few weeks, the last year. January 24, we had the drone invasion. We still don't really know what that was, although I think it was us. I think it was some sort of Lockheed Martin situation. Other people thought it was Chinese drones. Probably a mixture of everything, honestly. Authorities ultimately determined the aircraft was struck. Okay, sorry. In the next paragraph, the incident was the first of 4 encounters with unidentified anomalous phenomena. They got their UAP in that were reported a day later, according to Federal Aviation Administration documents obtained by the war zone. According to military personnel I've personally met with, there were objects 200 miles off the East Coast that were extensively loitering and had no visible means of propulsion, James Fox, a director specializing in films about UFO activity, told Fox News Digital. So a report from 2023 about an actual impact with a UAP doesn't really surprise me. The concerning collision comes as the Department of Defense reported 757 incidents involving UAPs from May 1st, 2023 to June 1st, 2024. That's a lot in a little bit of time. That is according to an unclassified document released by the All Domain Anomaly Resolution Office. Of those encounters, 708 occurred in the air, with only 49 instances marked as case closed by officials. Traditionally, the department received 18 reports regarding UAP incidents near nuclear infrastructure, launch sites, and weapons, according to the report. None of these resolve cases substantiated advanced foreign adversarial capabilities or breakthrough aerospace technologies, the report states, which would then contradict a lot of the Pentagon story that we heard about from a few weeks ago. But maybe it's a mix of everything. The sightings of UAPs near military sites are nothing new, according to Fox, and I will give you a little bit of this and we'll move on, but this is what I was saying earlier. There are reports dating back to the 1930s and 40s, Fox said, where you had mysterious glowing and orb-like objects that emitted very bright light that could just fly rings around the military planes from World War II. Fox pointed to the sheer advanced technology showcased within these sightings, such as aircraft that do not emit a heat signature or have the ability to fly stationary in high wind conditions. This has been well documented for decades, Fox said. So either we've managed to track the same thing it's been, possibly non-human intelligence since the 1940s, or someone has managed to replicate the technology, reverse engineer it, and they're flying it around. And then you see a wonderful little image of a UFO that they've included here, none of which have hit an F-16. In 2020, the Department of Defense established an unidentified aerial phenomena task force to further research and investigate the various UAPs spotted throughout American skies. The mission of the task force is to detect, analyze, and catalog UAPs that could potentially pose a threat to U.S. national security, the department said in a statement. Fox also cited officials' use of updated technology to pinpoint the location and characteristics of UAPs, possibly contributing to the influx in reports over recent years. And I don't doubt that. Knowing about all the AI our government has absorbed over the last few years, Brock, also known as Mecha Hitler, has just been hired by the government. So this is where we're going with AI watching the skies and you more than ever. They've adjusted the frequency on particular radars to pick up smaller objects that maybe have been here all along. Fox said, adding, it's a global phenomenon exhibiting the technology that's just light years ahead from anything we have. Has there been a successful effort in reverse engineering? If not, then it falls into the category that many would say is non-human intelligence. Now, we have many reports of our government and other governments trying to reverse engineer allegedly crashed UFOs, and it's hard to know what's real anymore. I think it is certainly possible that we have some sort of non-human technology, and we have been meddling with it for many years. But like I've said in the show before, I also believe in ancient breakaway civilizations that could have been very advanced, that have been hiding for quite some time. And perhaps they have their technology that they're slowly feeding to this new civilization. And perhaps they are the quote unquote aliens. But let me know what you guys think. This one, they had that one paragraph in there where it's like, it was a drone. We just can't confirm who owned the drone. So it could just be a drone. Or it was some extraterrestrial on a joyride hitting an F-16. Or it was China or Russia or Israel. Who knows anymore? They're all suspects.
It was a bogus sphere.
It was a bogus. Imagine if that's what they said. I wouldn't be surprised if they came out and said it was a bogus sphere.
I mean, come on. We've seen how many of these things flying around the last few weeks. Two or three of them, probably.
Yeah, I think we're going to get another one eventually. We're due for another.
You're going to tell me one of these idiots isn't going to fly it, into a plane eventually or something stupid.
I agree.
I mean, they're obviously not paying attention to FAA regulations with these things, you know?
Yep.
Why would you? You're trying to make it look like a UFO.
And if they film it and they put that out, man, because this is a few years old, if something recent going to happen that will be captured on film, I guess if it's captured on film, it would have to be like one of these military aircrafts, like a lot of the videos we've pulled up that Jeremy Corbell keeps sharing, that are very, I don't think they show me that much, pretty grainy, very blurry Bigfoot type videos of jellyfish UFOs. But it would be interesting to see what's next. Because there's going to be something. Every day I wake up and there's all these new UFO stories, and they don't, unfortunately, amount to very much, in my opinion. But I am fascinated with why. Why are we being force-fed these stories? I think it's leading up to something. I really do. I think we're on the cusp of some crazy time. Like we've always been on the cusp of something crazy.
You've been alluding to this for a couple weeks now.
Dude.
You think something big is in the works.
I think they're going to try to pull something big. I don't know if something big will actually happen, like a Project Bluebeam situation. Have we talked about that before? Like I brought it up, but like the idea of trying to fake an invasion of sorts in the sky, an alien invasion, or Project Bluebeam would also say they could fake a hologram Christ where people kind of rally around it to help usher in the global, like the New World Order, by people either coalescing around something they fear coming out of the sky or something they love. And being tricked. And I mean, the drones these days could do anything.
Well, how do you feel about the original radio broadcast that had the entire country shook?
I love that. I love it.
I mean, they say that was just a prank.
Oh yeah, he was just reading a story.
What if the idea behind that was actually just like the whole cloud situation in San Francisco, where it was just like, hey, let's just test this. We'll tell them it's fake.
Very possible.
We'll see what happens.
It's so possible. Anything's possible. I love War of the Worlds radio broadcast. I have it on vinyl, and it has all the clippings of the headlines from the day after of people having a panic attack.
Yeah, and that's an accurate depiction of what would happen if people actually thought we were being visited by,
Do you think it would work today?
Something else.
Do you think people would be as panicked today if something were to happen in the sky?
No.
Right. That's how I feel too.
I think people would probably just put it through Grok.
Is this real?
Is this real?
What if Grok's in on it?
I mean, he could be.
He works for the government now.
Yeah.
He's
a government employee. He's like, what was that alien's name?
Oh, man.
Who's the government employee alien?
The one who worked
J-Rod or something?
J-Rod, yeah. Good. J-Rod, yeah. Is he paying taxes or what?
I seriously want to know.
We got to look that up.
They're hitting me hard, man. So
Yeah, they're hitting all of us.
No mercy.
Because you're funding the next Project Bluebeam. I don't know if people, it depends how good it is, Like, I don't think people are buying the Boogosphere at all. I'm reading the comments, I'm hearing from people, and it's not like that's a huge Project Bluebeam scenario, but it is something that has been, our government's now attached to it. We have Burleson, Mexico, talking about it. They're trying to ramp up the sphere situations in China, Colombia. We had the Bet sphere that happened here in Florida. I don't know if people care. I don't know. It's going to have to be really good and really scary. And they do have the technology. I think, to pull something off. I just think people are so suspicious of everything now, which is good, but sometimes to a fault. That if something were to they try to pull something off, there'd be a portion of the civilization that would buy into it, and another portion that would reject it. Just like 5 years ago with lockdowns and everything. Who knows? I don't know. I hope it doesn't happen.
I guess we'll find out.
But when I say something big is happening, it doesn't have to be Bluebeam. I just feel like society is at a breaking point, and people can't take much more. And we are, as a country, arguing about child trafficking and like sexual blackmail at the highest levels of our society, and our administration is fumbling that ball completely. That is a super big, sinister problem that we are now debating as a country. So it's like, where do you go next?
I mean,
Where do you go?
have we not realized yet, as a large community, that they're treating us like dogs, and basically they know that we'll fight over whatever scraps they give us, and they're never going to give us too much food to where we're satiated. They're never going to let that happen. They will never allow the hunger to be satisfied. They're going to keep tossing us little bits like this and making us fight in the streets like animals because they know that we. So I mean, wake up.
100%, dude. And I think they also are banking on our short-term memory, right? Like, we don't have very good long-term memory as a society. And and I'll recap it quickly because I talked about it on IRL, and I know there's a bunch of people here who are just watching IRL, but like, there's a long history of Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell's father, Robert Maxwell, weird, like, constructed intelligence people. I don't know what to call them, like assets, infiltrating every institution of every country, right? And like, Robert Maxwell was this guy who was working with the Soviets, with Mossad, with Israel, with Eastern Europeans, like the mafia, and he owned Pergamon, like this giant. He was a media mogul. His competition was Rupert Murdoch, right? Like, this is a huge character in the Epstein world that we don't talk about much. But like, he died mysteriously after what he took part in the Promise scandal, stealing and selling like technology that was used to spy on the American government, which is like we'll say like an early form of Palantir. Inslaw, INSLAW Inc. It's very interesting, and that was a huge scandal. And then so think about how that operated around the globe. Became this huge conspiracy, spying, blackmail, Mossad, U.S., Russia, you name it, all the main players. And then we'll condense it down to something local. You guys might have seen the documentary. I haven't seen it. It might be a documentary or a movie about the journalist in West Virginia who was looking into the Promise scandal and the Inslaw affair. And he called it, what he found through his investigations, what he called the octopus. The octopus. And Robert Maxwell was a part of all this, like I said. And not too far from here, that journalist was meeting a source while investigating the octopus and the Inslaw affair connected to the Promise scandal, the spy situation, the spy technology. And that reporter died a horrible death in this town. And they ruled it a suicide. He had slit his wrist multiple times, but it was very sketchy. No one really believed it. And then in 1991 or 1990, Ghislaine Maxwell's father mysteriously died. And this is a very like prominent guy. You can go look up many interviews with him. Worth checking out. He owned 51% of MTV up until 1990, I think, or 89. Had his hands in everything, kind of like an Epstein. He did have some financial troubles because he had a very lavish lifestyle. Ghislaine was his youngest kid. I think he had 9 kids. I believe he lost a child when she was born, and probably, so they say, this stuff right here I'm saying I've heard from Whitney Webb, who I am trying desperately to get on Tim's show. So if anyone out there is listening, bug Lisa about getting her on there. But Whitney's hard to get on because she lives in South America. But she is one of the people who's done so much good reporting on Epstein and Robert Maxwell. But Maxwell had a shady life, and what I was saying was, Ghislaine seemed to have been neglected at a young age, and eventually she became like the favorite, we'll say. So much so that Robert named his yacht Lady Ghislaine. And when he went on his yacht in 1991, that's where he died. No one knows what happened. He fell off. Who knows? Elaine thinks Mossad killed her father. The other siblings do not believe that. They believe he killed himself. But it's a weird, mysterious death surrounding a lot of this weird spy stuff and intel agencies, Mossad, the U.S., and Russia. That sounds like Epstein, right? And also, according to Whitney Webb's reporting, and if you read her book, One Nation Under Blackmail, she has sources for like all this stuff. So I highly recommend looking into that because it's 2 books, but it's worth looking into because she dates it back, all the sexual blackmail stuff back to Hoover and FBI and the mafia, blackmailing Hoover with video or photos of him with his gay lover in New York City. That's pretty well documented stuff as well. But yeah, Ghislaine went onto the boat after her father passed away, did all the shredding of the paperwork. So this is like someone who seemed like she was part of the family business. And then she started her own thing with Jeffrey Epstein. And I just watched a video earlier with Eric Weinstein talking about Jeffrey Epstein because there's some weird connections with the physics community and Jeffrey Epstein. And Eric is kind of cagey about the whole situation, but what he was getting at, I think, in this video, he's done a few interviews about this, was that in his mind, Epstein was sent to the Harvard math department, the physics department, kind of study whatever was going on there. And he doesn't really know why. I think he has answers, but he seems reluctant to say those answers, at least that I've seen so far. But I will say Robert Maxwell, Ghislaine Maxwell's father, with Pergamon Publishing, put out a lot of science textbooks that filled university classrooms. That's bizarre. Everything about this is bizarre. We can, get into whole Lex Wessner stuff and all this. But we'll move. I want to get to callers in just a sec. I'll just wrap it up by saying I've been hearing people say that it's possible that, Trump and Bongino and Cash and Bondi got in and they realized they were overselling this idea. Alad kind of said that on IRL earlier, but I've heard a bunch of people say it, that they were overselling this idea of the Epstein files. Epstein, was horrible, but maybe not as big as a problem as we once thought. I totally disagree. I think these people got into office and realized it was way bigger than they can handle, like an ancient evil that they just cannot deal with. And there's people saying that perhaps it's some 4D chess thing that Trump is doing where he's now using the blackmail against people. I hope not, because I think the American people voted for Trump to expose and destroy all of this political playing that they do with blackmail. I prefer the American people not to be a pawn again in this stuff, but maybe he's using it to destroy the bad actors, and that would be great. I will say it is interesting that it's documented that Trump hung out with Robert Maxwell, but again, I'm not saying he's guilty. I'm just saying these people embed themselves in everything.
Well, did you see on X the supposed list that was discovered?
Yeah,
and put up. It was Matt Wallace. And then
was it from today or something
tweets
new?
After that, it was July 12th, so 2 days ago.
I don't know if I saw a new one. I wonder if it was because there's been so many.
I've got it right here
sweet.
for everybody.
Can you read off some of these names?
There are a lot of them.
Can you read this whole thing and do it like it's beat poetry?
We would be here for probably an hour. I'm just gonna slow scroll the list here for everybody so you can get an idea. If you haven't seen this tweet, the tweet came out 2 days ago, and it says the following names need to be investigated immediately.
Okay, I also want to say something I've heard Trump sort of suggest and like cat turd is we don't want to hurt people who have been in the periphery of this. I don't either, but honestly, we can let God sort that out. Because if you were in the periphery of this, a lot of people were. I don't believe you're immediately guilty. I think there are a lot of people who are with Epstein who are guilty. The whole Dershowitz thing is weird. That was a name I couldn't remember last week. By the way, the lawyer, Alan Dershowitz, he's like a Trump guy, but he's also an Epstein guy and also was a big Bill Clinton defender during the Monica Lewinsky stuff. He wrote a whole book about it in his defense. He has, I will say in Dershowitz's defense, a sentence I never thought I'd say, he has corrected his stance on Bill Clinton. And I also believe people can change, but he seemed like someone who was really close to Epstein. He was the person I was referencing last week saying he has seen an actual client list. but can't release any information because of some NDA according to the judge. So that's why I said, he's like, don't, I wouldn't even say that out loud because they're going to kidnap this guy, you know? But
I mean, how do you gauge collateral damage for something this big that's been going on for this long?
Yeah.
I mean, at what point do you draw the line of people that are going to have to fall on the knife for everything to come to light like we want?
I think we unfortunately can't worry about collateral damage. I don't want to show.
We can't.
Yeah, we can't. Like, I don't
we
want to
just
show
flat out, we cannot worry about collateral damage. I feel bad for the people that this has happened to, you know, but like if they want justice, it's going to have to come to a little bit more exposure, unfortunately. And I think these people need to be proud to come forward and not scared.
I agree. And then just come out yourself and say, look, this is why I'm on that list. This is why I was with them, or why I'm not. Because I also think it's hard to trust any list because the list or whatever it is has gone through so many hands.
Yeah.
You know, and we also know there's videos of this, you know, like that allegedly
tens of thousands, apparently.
Bondi said it. But like I said on IRL, if the foundation of this country is comprised of sexual blackmail, which I believe it is, and it dates back to at least Hoover and the beginning of the FBI, we need to destroy that foundation. And we can't let this continue because we are trying to save kids. And again, for people who are trying to downplay this, being like, oh, it was a nothing thing, that's BS. This is unfortunately an evil disease that is a part of every institution. This hurting children is unfortunately everywhere. I've referenced the story I've done with Alex Rosen a bunch. That's like a localized, we're going after child predators who are using Roblox and Minecraft to talk to children, Facebook, and go, you know, harm innocents. But like this happens on a major scale. Look up Jimmy Savile. You know, this is a major personality in Britain who harmed 1,000 kids at least, you know, insane story, who was friendly with the royals, Prince Charles. Weird about, I don't think he had any Prince Andrew I don't think he was friends with Prince Andrew, but there's Prince Andrew. Just here in America, I mean, you can name a million stories, but I'm thinking of Earl Bradley. We talked about him on this show with Destiny Resendez. When we talked about Beau Biden, I'm going to say something nice about a Biden right now, but Beau Biden took down Earl Bradley, who was a pediatrician in Delaware, who harmed 1,000 kids at least, and videotaped it under his practice. Like, these are sick people. These are very sick. They're demons. That's their demons. So this isn't like a one-off. This isn't something we can downplay. This is everywhere. We can talk about the DuPont air in Delaware that Beau Biden also took down. I highly recommend that episode with Destiny. When we break down everything Beau Biden did, it's insane. And it's insane that Joe Biden never talked about it and just like lied about, you know, the cancer and how he got it and how he died. Beau Biden did some pretty epic stuff, taking down pedophiles in Delaware. And it's curious, right? Why didn't Joe Biden talk about it? Perhaps because his father was a lot like the people his son was taking down. His father, when he was alive, I don't think he is anymore. I think he's just a robot that looks like Joe Biden. His father was sniffing kids all the time. Very creepy. We can, you know, get into the laptop and we can get into the diary. And all
he was a gripper and a sniffer.
Dude,
folks.
disgusting. He was disgusting. I talk about Joe in the past tense. I'm trying to because I don't think he's with us anymore. I think it's been a very long time since Joe Biden's been on this planet. And that, we talked about the auto pen in the last episode. And the whole thing is crazy. I think we're living in a non-reality. I think, like, you know, something Tim and I have discussed on IRL a bunch is this idea of the normalcy bias. And for so long, I'm like, yeah, I mean, it's the normal. What is the normal anymore? And the more I think about it, I think the normal is actually the insane stuff. And it's just been like hidden. And the normalcy bias that I have now is attached to the depravity that is running this country. And that's why it's so important for me to not let the Epstein stuff go. And like watching all these people say we can't talk about it anymore is insane. And being like, this is a major story. And it's not just that all these people kind of campaigned on it or talked about it. It's that this has deep roots in our country and it affects children. So I'd like some accountability. So who knows? Because we have people like Charlie Kirk and Trump saying there's nothing right now, just give us time, or Bongino saying there's no there. We're also hearing that Bongino's not going to work and he might step down. Who knows what's happening? But then we also have Laura Trump saying there's more to come.
I'll never let go, Jack. I'll never let go.
Never let go. That's it. That's it.
Really quick.
Yeah.
I want to do a quick little dynamic change here from this, and let's get into one more thing that has upset me. We want to thank our very own Alex Ayala for this. She threw this into a chat earlier that I picked up on. Stop fucking with people's crops.
No way. Is that real?
This was reported in Dorset. And I'm going to give you just a little bit of this because obviously the cops over there are not fooled any more than I am with this this heap of shit that they put in this farmland. Crop circles in fields in Dorset have been branded as criminal damage by police and farmers. A spider motif appeared on farmland near Cerne Abbas Thursday morning. Dorset police appealed for information saying the stunt had damaged crops. PC Kate Schofield said, "This act of criminal damage has had a significant financial impact on the farmer." I mean,
this is not.
You really think an alien is going to come make a crop circle that looks like a squiddish alien?
This is not a good crop circle.
What the hell is this?
This is man-made.
Clearly,
I mean, they tried.
Yeah. So, kudos to the amount of time that was wasted doing the perfectly concentric circles around the outside of this, but what the hell?
Watch this be the only time aliens did it. I can't believe they're not buying this one.
Why aren't they believing us? Yeah. Don't ever make it look like this. I don't know what to tell you.
It's weird that the most recent crop circles look like shirts you could buy at Spencer Gifts in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
What was it? A Joker was the other one. Now we have a spider.
Yeah, I couldn't get behind that one either for obvious reasons. What the hell? I don't know. To me, this is a dickish display of human behavior, and yeah, if you look at the scale of this farmland here, this is definitely a pretty decent chunk of crop that got ruined by this.
It's huge. Yeah.
So, quit being dicks to farmers.
Nice.
You're not an alien. You're not going to go viral for this shit other than people just calling you a jagoff. So that's my 2 cents on that.
I wonder, have we ever seen any arrests from crop circles?
That's honestly a really good question. Because I've never seen it be brought back on the news or anything like that. Hey,
crop circle gang arrested in Dorset.
Yeah, crop circle freaking gang.
I would like to see that.
No, I would love that.
Fine.
Because I'd be like, all right, I got questions now. How many of these have you guys done?
Let's see. Okay, so
who's affiliated? Release the crop circle list.
In November 6, 2000. This is from The Guardian. An unemployed computer programmer yesterday became the first person to be fined for creating an elaborate crop circle, an act he claimed he carried out in a bizarre effort to debunk wild theories about its origin. Matthew Williams, with the help of a friend, used planks and bamboo poles to make an elaborate 7-pointed star in a Wiltshire field, of ripening wheat over 3 nights in August. Williams, 29, of Bishop's Cannings, near Devizes, Wilts, decided to act after becoming incensed by the claims of Michael Glickman, a former professor of architecture who has studied crop circles for many years. I love that there's an origin story out there of a computer program who was incensed by a former professor named Michael Glickman about crop circles. He heard Professor Glickman claim on an American radio show that it was impossible for a human to create a 7-pointed star shape in a crop field. It could only have been created by aliens. After listening to the show via the internet, Williams contacted the show's presenter by email, dismissing Professor Blickman's claims. Wait, there's a typo here. It's a Blickman now. He was a Glickman. When the presenter challenged him to prove the professor wrong, Williams went under cover of darkness with his friend to the field of Manor Farm, West Overton, near Marlborough, to create the design. He then emailed a picture of the work to the presenter. It was passed on to the professor, who alerted police. Yesterday, in what is thought to be the first prosecution of its kind in Britain, he admitted a charge of causing criminal damage to farmland and was fined £100. Devez's magistrates heard that Williams had become increasingly angry at Glickman's claims that crop circles were the work of strange forces, aliens or otherwise. That's a quote. Stephen Clifford, defending Williams, said his desire was to prove Mr. Glickman wrong. The court heard that in a police interview, Williams was quite candid and admitted creating the circles, going into some detail about how he did it using planks and bamboo. Mr. Glifford told the court, "My client has strong beliefs, and the public were being misled." I wish I was in this courtroom. His actions did not result in any financial gain for himself. Did destroy a crop. He showed no malice to the farmer, except for destroying a crop. Crop circles are known to boost tourism. He was simply trying to prove that a 7-point star can be man-made. So there you have it,
Yeah, 'cause
people.
we've never seen that before.
I just want to see if anyone's been caught. Yes, there have been instances where individuals have been caught making crop circles. One of the most famous cases involves two men, Doug Bauer and Dave Chorley, who in 1991 admitted to having created numerous crop circles in England as a prank. They were demonstrated their techniques using simple tools like planks and rope to flatten the crops in intricate patterns. So there are stories, but guys, I gotta tell you, I think some of these things are not man-made. I don't know what they are. Maybe they're just, if they are, the farmers have to be in on it.
I don't mean you keep coming back to this. I want to believe.
I want to believe.
But you keep giving me bullshit. I can't believe this. This is bullshit. Now,
Yes.
I'm going to go back to the guy here for a second because he even said here, where is it?
Yep.
He even said here, and his last name is Pope, by the way, which I love being from Chicago. He's an almighty Pope. Mr. Pope admitted the circles were clever and good artwork, but it's also my livelihood and blatant vandalism. Definitely had an impact on me, and I reckon the damage came to several £1,000s. Now they find this guy 100 pounds.
So that was back in 2000.
I wonder what the size of the circle was. It obviously wasn't as big as this, but it wasn't just damage to the crop, but to the ground where you're planning to plant something else. He said people turned up to his farm after pictures of the circle were circulated on social media. Now here's where it gets good. I wouldn't mind if the people who did this kind of thing approach farmers first, and we could have a dialogue, maybe come to an agreement and charge entry. He added.
See,
and
some of these farmers are making bank. I think they're making more money off crop. Like, are they making more money off crop circles, or are they making money off?
Now
wheat?
think about this, and here's the discussion on this. Let's say the farmer did agree to this, and you're talking 6 figures in damage to the crops, right?
Yep.
But he makes 7 figures pulling in tourists. That's more money than he could make on all of that crop in one season. Right? The crop doesn't go anywhere. It's not an adjustable variable. You have this much crop and that's it. And this is your net gain at the end of the year versus your losses, right? This is a way to supersede that and get more value out of the same land by simply mutilating some of your crops for the season.
Right. Oh, out here in the States, we just make corn mazes and it's like no biggie.
Yeah.
We're doing it too, but we're open about it.
But you notice they do that in the fall after the corn's already been.
That's true.
Basically, it's ready to be harvested.
Yep.
So they pull some of it early. They sell it at the market, and hey, we're going to charge for admission. Admission to a haunted house or a corn maze or something, and it works.
It does. It's always good. I love them.
But no one's trying to pass it off as alien activity.
It's a classic Scooby-Doo situation. It's some guy trying to make money, and it's just beneath the alien mask, a farmer, or someone. Taking advantage of the farmer. I did find another article, a more recent one from 2017. This is from BBC News. Criminal damage warning over Wiltshire crop circles increase. Farmers have been urged to report crop circles made on their land to police after a recent spate of them. I mean, I love that it's just Wiltshire.
I was going to say, this seems to be happening
That's Wiltshire.
a lot over there.
Yeah, it's their thing. It's their thing. Remember, it's not too far from Stonehenge.
Yeah, South England is at the center of much activity. This is on my article, too, with Wiltshire police also recently warning that creating them without the landowner's permission was criminal damage.
When I retire, I might go work. I might sign up for the Wiltshire Police Force and be part of the crop circle agency. I think that's in my cards.
Let's do it when we retire, dude. Let's just go investigate crop. And I'm just going to show up every time with a coffee and just be like, bullshit.
Yeah. What farmer is behind this one? Wiltshire police said there has been an increase in the number of the patterns appearing in fields in the county. This is from 2017. A spokesman said creating a crop circle was criminal damage and an offense. Damage caused means a loss in revenue to the farmer and landowner, unless there's some backdoor dealings. Wiltshire remains one of the hot spots for the formations. You guys know this. Wheat farmer Tim Carson said his land at Alton Barns near Marlborough was first used for a crop circle 27 years ago. For a time, he would charge visitors to see them. He said at the time it was the first one that had ever occurred anywhere in the world. Little did we know we would get hundreds more after that. It was a one-off, but the press seemed to go for it, and people just started turning up. Thousands of people came into that formation. However, he is now trying to discourage crop circle enthusiasts using his land as it creates harvesting problems. A farmer who currently has a crop circle in one of his fields estimates a loss of about 120 pounds is lost on damaged crops. Mr. Carson said this is quite a small formation compared to some of the ones that we'd had in the past. The wheat is completely flat on the floor now. It's unlikely we'll be able to get the combine low enough to harvest it. Crop circles are happening more and more these days. UFOs are in the skies. We're seeing it more and more. What do you guys think? I don't know. But I like reporting on it. The crop circles is new to me, and I love it. There's people who are very passionate about it, and I appreciate everyone sending me stuff on the crop circles. And I do think there's some very strange aspects to the crop circles. But when you show me the spider and the Joker, that's just ridiculous.
Yeah, you're just get away from me with that shit.
Do better.
Good.
Do better. Do we have any callers?
Oh, we got a few. We can jump in if you want.
All right, let's do it. Well, before we do that, let's remind everyone our phone lines are open. Link to call in is pinned in the chat on both Rumble and YouTube. If you've got some kind of strange, crazy story, give us a call. And just want to welcome everyone who's now joining us from the IRL members only episode. I wish I was there. I'm very curious how that went with Alad and Myron, because it was getting fun in that room before I ran over here. But we appreciate you being here now. And like I said, this is a call-in show. If you have a weird story you want to share with us, any idea about anything we've said already, give us a call. It's audio only. So we would love to get to as many of you as we possibly can. And again, just want to thank everyone for liking, subscribing, sharing, commenting. We love it. We appreciate it. You guys have been really helping grow the show the past month and a half almost. With the new format. We are very, very grateful for that. So thank you guys so much. And I guess we should get to our first caller of the night.
All right. Let's do it. We're going to try this again with a guy named Jamie.
What's up, fellas? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
We can. How you doing?
Man, this is awesome. Again, I got you on my daughter's Beat headphones. This is awesome.
Nice.
You're in stereo, fellas.
Nice.
Hey,
how's it going, man?
It's going great. I called last week about a funeral I was going to sing at.
That's right.
You know, you let me boo-hoo is awesome. Thank y'all.
Yeah, man. How are you doing?
That, dude. Oh, great, man. I'm telling you, you know, you really encouraged me, and I sang with all my heart, you know, and but it was a tough situation altogether, you know.
Sure.
But the mother, you know, she reached back out and, you know, just expressed, you know, it blessed her, you know, and so it was awesome. I mean, it's tough if you're ever, you know, I knew her, but I never met her son, and there was a lot of people, and your palms sweat. I know you play, right? You guys do music and things like that.
I have, and yeah, this guy's a drummer. He's done a lot,
definitely. Sweet, man. I love that. So did your palms ever just, I mean, sweat like prior?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's
like
good.
any kind of, you know. So all that, you know, it just happens. But it was just a beautiful gift to me, and I appreciate you guys letting me, you know, really let go. I hope anybody listening understands you're genuine. So I hope they keep calling, you know, and I won't take long.
Thanks, man.
But I wanted to tell you about a story, and I'm gonna try to get this video to you, dude. It's on my old phone. You mentioned helicopters earlier, and things like that, and following. This happened. If that's okay, just real quick. I guess in context with the UFOs and whatnot.
Yeah, let's do
it. My wife and I were here. You know, I always look up since I was a kid. My first ever experience, real quick, as a young kid, maybe 8 or 9 years old. This is probably before your time. But they made these little transformer guns that you could literally turn Optimus Prime into like a laser gun. It was sick, dude. I wish I could find one now. It's probably worth a lot of money. But a friend of mine, he had that. We're out there in my driveway. just looking at the night sky. I had watched planes. I'd seen, you know, shooting stars were a lot more rare than it seemed, but this thing was moving. We thought it was a plane moving across the sky at just straight line. And I pointed this. I said, "Let me see the gun." So I took the toy gun and just pointed it into the air. And this was 40 years ago plus. And I pointed to the air and I said, it made a sound and lit up. As soon as I did that, as God is alive and well, it took a 45-degree, it just went from running straight, like, you know, like you could just put it on an angle, immediately turning and going, so much so that 2 9-year-old kids knew this was not normal, right?
And what was it that moved?
It was a light to us. It would be like, you know, you see a satellite moving or a plane moving, what we would assume as kids, you know, it's just airplanes. That's all we knew in the sky at that time, 40 years ago. They were probably satellites, but and so we watched it. And I took the little toy and I pointed it and I pulled the trigger. And at that moment, it just like, it wasn't like a slow bending motion. This thing, it just made an impossible turn. Okay. Impossible turn. We freaked out. We run in trying to tell our parents. They're like, yeah. So I haven't really seen a whole lot of things, you know, and that, to me, that was enough to know something's up as a kid. But to move fast forward to where I want to get to you, hopefully I get you guys this video, because I can't really do anything with it because of the quality of it. But I heard a helicopter coming, and I get them. There's some kind of military base down here. I'm right where North Carolina, South Carolina meet, and sometimes they'll fly the choppers, you know, 3, 4, 5, sometimes at a time. This was at night, okay? And this was a heavy, you know, when you've been there and they're like, they're low, they're moving, right? And I told my wife, I said, honey, so I'm trying to run around. I got this corner light on my house, you know, that I'd like to have had off at that time, but it was on. And because of that, it really impeded on the video. But I heard this chopper coming, dude, and it's moving. And as I'm trying to get ready, I'm right here at the corner of the house where I could see it. It was dark enough. No moonlight or anything. So it was really dark that night. All of a sudden, I hear it and I see it. I got my phone out and trying to film it. In front of, all I can make out of this helicopter was another dim light. That this chopper was low. And brother, when I say low, I'm talking just a few hundred feet, probably below the radar. Like, and this is nighttime, and I live out in the country. You know, it's not flying over no real high populated areas. But as this thing moved by, I'm just I said, did you see that, to my wife? Because I'm looking directly in front of this helicopter, because right directly in front of it is another color of a light, like almost like right off the tip of this thing. And that's where I'm looking. Well, she's looking further ahead of it. And I didn't get this. I wouldn't think, but she saw another light that was moving out ahead of it. So as I came to, I was confused. I was like, did you see it? She was like, yes. So I'm like, yeah, it was right in front of the helicopter. She's like, no, it was over out in front. So something that made no noise, you know, was right directly in front of this chopper that felt like a big one. It's very hard to see. So if I can get somehow this video, I would be interested to see if somebody could actually.
Do you have Twitter? Something. Do you have Twitter by any chance?
Yeah, X, Instagram, YouTube, any of that. If you can get it up there.
Yeah, I got X.
If you throw it on Twitter and then tag me and Brandon, because he'll be on the computer to bring it up.
Yeah, tag Brandon when you're on it, and I'll be able to pull it up.
Okay. If I send it through, like, do I need to post it? Anyway, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, just post it and tag my name in it.
Phone. But I would be okay, cool, because man, I would love to just really know just how much, like you're talking about, of this stuff is what are they doing? You know, they're just bouncing back and forth with this or that, you know, because it's a lot of times they're being followed by military, clearly what we know to be planes or helicopters.
Did the light have a shape?
It was hard to know. It did not. It was hard because I said it was dark, and the helicopter clearly was completely blacked out.
Okay.
But whatever this object was, it looked, I'd say, 20 yards in front of it. Wasn't big, and it wasn't bright, but it wasn't part of that helicopter. There's not going to be like a completely blacked out helicopter, but off the nose, we're going to give you an indicator light.
Right.
Well, we know they've got Blackhawks. We've seen him, you know, when they sent him in to go get Bin Laden. This was what, 2010, 2011 when that happened, and they were still in testing phase, prototypes, whatnot. So, I mean, we've given them 10 or 15 years to perfect, you know, and expound upon that, and we know that they've got more covert, quieter aircraft now. So
that's funny. You said that. I watched Conspiracy Theory last night with Mel Gibson, Julia Roberts. I encourage you to find it. You can find it on Tubi. You got to go watch some commercials.
I seen it as a kid, long time ago.
Yes, yeah, but to bring it back, because he's like the black helicopters, right? And they put the helicopters on what's called a whisper mode,
right?
So that these helicopters can actually, you know, not make sound.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
they've got crazy stuff now.
Yep.
I just saw a
that's
video.
in 1997, dude.
Yeah, I just saw a video of a machine that is probably going to replace tow trucks. I don't know if you guys saw this on Twitter or online, but
no, was it Elon?
It's something like Elon. It wasn't Elon though. It was like a flat machine on wheels that goes beneath the car.
Yeah, I did see that.
And it has these like these
yeah.
steel bars that come out, lift up the tires,
and
boom,
just drives it away.
It's crazy.
Gone,
I mean, that's gonna,
yeah.
yeah,
dude. Think of the repo.
Exactly.
I mean, let's start a repo company, right?
Yeah,
Let's
exactly.
just get on it, like inverted world repo, right?
Yeah, before
like you come out, your
circles.
whole world's upside down because your car's gone, dude.
Dude, it's crazy. I mean, they're definitely gonna repo electric cars remotely. That's definitely gonna happen.
Sure. But I mean, even a car that's not. You know, you got a little rig that you can they're in Walmart, you know, you're parked over somewhere else. You just send this little thing and it just takes the car. And
better hope your dog or baby's on that car.
Oh Lord. Yeah. If you left your baby in the car, you deserve your car to be
exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Good gosh.
Yeah. I can't believe people do that. That's a whole other story.
Right. You guys are insanely awesome. I'm not going to take no more time. I don't have a lot of friends. My dad and I have a lot of conversations, like kind of what you're doing.
That's awesome.
And he talks to me, he's like, man, you know, I don't have anybody else I can talk to. Like, me either, man. So we should just like do this. You know?
Well, your dad's free to call in. Your dad's free to call in anytime.
Heck yeah, man. My dad,
that'd be awesome.
He's as real as they get. He's 70 years old, and I just turned him on to Alex Jones and InfoWars, and so he's aware. So
well, that's great.
I'm not gonna throw him at you guys yet. He's asleep. He don't try to hang no more, man. So, but I'm a fan. I'm a fan of Brandon. I'm a fan of Shane. Everybody listening.
Thank you.
They've been kind to me. So I'm gonna get out of the way and let other people who love you. And I'm gonna get that video.
Yeah, do that, man. And I'm glad you're doing better. You're sounding good. I'm glad it went well at the funeral. Yeah. I think I saw a lot of support for you in the comments, and very happy to hear all that. Despite all that darkness, I think that it was a blessing. Despite all that.
I believe in the grace of God through Jesus Christ.
Amen.
And I tell you what, if it was up to us to figure out who gets to go and who don't, I wouldn't want to go to heaven anyway. You know what I mean? So I'm thankful that the one who knows everyone is making that call. So he knows you, whether you don't know him. And I pray that, just like me and you and everybody, that we just mutualize that relationship each day a little bit more.
Yeah, man. Amen. Have a great night, dude.
All right. Peace.
Thanks, Jimmy.
Thank you.
We'll keep an eye out for the strange light in front of a helicopter. Who knows what that's about?
Really quick, Everyone coming over from Timcast, welcome. Thanks for hanging out. We were talking about some UFO stuff, some bogus crop circles, and of course Epstein made it in there somehow.
Had to.
It had to.
I don't know how. It's just not going to stop. I'm not going to stop, guys. It's like, okay, you put out a Truth Social post, and now I'm supposed to just forget everything, dude. I'm sorry. I really like Trump, but this is not a good look.
And
maybe I'm wrong.
So we are dabbling on the phones now. Like, subscribe, follow, share the show. The link to call in, it is a Zoom meeting. They are pinned in the chats on both Rumble and YouTube. Check it out. Hit it. It'll bring you into Zoom, ask you your name. All you got to do is just sit in the waiting room, and we will call on you randomly to come on to the show. So thanks again for everybody watching, and let's get to another caller. So I'm going in order tonight. We're going to bring in Tiny next.
Oh, sweet. We know Tiny. Someone in the chat, I'm looking at you guys in the chat, said repo work is dangerous. I knew some people doing repo work. They had the craziest stories.
Tiny, you're on the show. Welcome back.
What up?
Yo, what's good, guys? What's up, Wayman? How you doing, man?
Good, good. How are you?
Oh, man, just sitting in here in the garage enjoying this humidity.
I hear that.
Oh,
hot.
Yeah, man. I wish we had gotten some of the storms you guys got, man. We're in this like funnel where when it comes to the cut there, it doesn't hit us.
Oh, we got that flood stuff earlier, and thankfully a lot of it passed us and headed straight for Jersey. But Jersey Turnpike is not doing too well, from what I understood from that one. So you might be glad you missed it.
Yeah, we should post some of those videos later. They're crazy.
Yeah, no doubt. So, hey, I wanted to bring something up that I haven't heard a whole lot of people talk about, and I find it kind of interesting. But Northrop Grumman actually has been working on an underwater autonomous drone.
Yeah.
And it's publicly released. Like, they just recently talked about it publicly.
I did just see that somewhere.
And I think it's kind of interesting. The reason why I bring it up is because historically they're more of like an aerospace defense type company. I don't know that they necessarily build boats.
Yep. Yeah, I'm trying to.
You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, water is just another way to get something from point A to point B without anyone seeing it, right?
Yeah. No doubt. And I don't know how much validity there is to it, but when Rogan had that Air Force fighter jet pilot on there, and they had the video and all that kind of shit.
Yep.
They talked about how that went from water to air.
The Tic Tac.
Like it transitioned. Yeah, the Tic Tac. Yeah. And I just found I kind of find that interesting.
I do too, and it kind of goes back to the thing I'm always kind of interested in with these congressional hearings. There's been a few times since I would say it was July 2021 where we've had these congressional hearings and someone brings up the underwater UAP. The underwater yeah, I guess they have to call it a UAP with the new branding. But I'm like, they never say they can talk about it. So that to me says that's something that someone we know is working on. I mean, I know you mentioned the Northrop Grumman stuff. I think a lot of them are building stuff down there, that we just can't even comprehend. There is so much stuff going on down there between all the countries that I am sure there is some just insane, fascinating technology prowling around, not to mention the dolphins that we've dosed with acid.
Well, I was going to say, you think we've got aliens down there too.
Those are the real aliens, in my opinion. The octopi,
dolphins.
I mean, all of them, they're weird. Whales. They're not, they're weird, dude. They're weird. And they're trying to take over. We got to watch out.
Fair enough. I mean, I'll be more concerned when they can start walking.
I was going to say, they're going to need to grow legs before they come try to kick my ass.
You see all these floods are happening because they're trying to take over. So the more flooding we get, that's how the whales get up here, and we're cooked.
Yeah, that's fair, man. I mean, I'm going to drown anyway because I'm not a big fan of water as it is. I mean, I did the swiftwater rescue stuff, but I was a shoreman, man. I didn't go out on a boat. Like I stood there and monitored the shore.
Man, it's so dangerous. Hearing these stories with the floods and people being swept away, it's so terrifying.
Dude, it's incredible, man. Like, I mean, I've been involved in the recovery of children and stuff before, and it's not fun, man. I can't imagine the scope of what these guys are dealing with. It's just fucking incredible.
Oh,
And
yeah, it hurts to think about,
yeah,
honestly.
yeah, dude, it's nasty. And everybody say a prayer for those kids and for the first responders too, man, their
Absolutely.
families, everybody. That's just horrendous.
Yep.
But the Epstein thing, man, dude, I think everybody needs to understand that, like, we're in the age of information warfare. So, I commented before about muddy waters, right? I mean, beyond just the floods and stuff taking place, like, this is information warfare, is muddy waters. What's real, what's not real. And so there's always going to be, misdirection. There's always going to be, uh, half truths. You know what I mean? And, I do agree with you that the way Trump reacted was telling to me, man. I base a lot of how I view people on my impressions of them and how they carry themselves, especially in like strenuous situations.
Yeah.
And that was out of character for that dude.
So weird. It was like,
Yeah.
this is not the Trump we knew.
Right.
It was very interesting.
Yeah, man, and I'll just finish up so you guys can move on to somebody else, man. But the last thing I wanted to say is that I think that the best thing for, at least, I don't even know that it's going to matter if Trump's on there, man, because I believe that MAGA is bigger than Trump. I think he might have been the one that was the initial face, but I think right now you're seeing something that's taking place in this country, and especially like the fact that so many people are coming behind this pedophile stuff, man. And I'm not talking about these fake commie leftists that are just jumping over here now because it's, negative for Trump.
Right.
I'm talking about just, there's a coalition of people in this country that have never, coalesced before. Totally. And I just think that we all need to understand that, we cannot lose the momentum that we have if a figurehead falls. Fuck them, man. Sorry for cursing.
No, I agree. It shouldn't, like, I like Trump and I like a lot of what he did in the first term, but the idea of MAGA obviously should transcend a person. No one should idolize Trump. Don't go full cat turd on this.
Right.
That's no one
never
wants
go
that.
full cat turd.
Never go full cat turd. Because that's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. You got to be able to call things out as they are. I'll champion his wins and I'll call out his losses and his failures, and that should be the case with everybody, no matter what, if whether or not you voted for him. But this is weird, and I am with you on it. The Muddy the Waters info. Alex Jones named his show so wonderfully. InfoWars is a perfect name for what we have always been in. And it's just now in the past 5 to 10 years. Really accelerated when Trump came down the escalator, when things got real crazy, it's been exposed. You saw how many lies. COVID really accelerated it as well. Everyone was like, wait, they're lying to us about some of the most important stuff. They're locking down the world. They are shutting down your business. They're telling you to not be within 6 feet of people. You can't go to funerals. So that caused a lot of depraved people to get crazier, but also open up a lot of people's eyes to being like, whoa, we've been living a lie, which goes back to what I was saying earlier about the normalcy thing. Like, our normalcy bias is rooted in a fake idea of the concept of normal, but normal is actually depraved people just hiding behind the shadows. Not to say the world isn't beautiful and there's so much joy and love out there, but there are so many bad actors trying to take control of the fallen world that's the normal, unfortunately. That's human nature, unfortunately. And, it takes all of us trying to band together and keep calling it out, which is why I won't stop talking about Epstein or anything. So I think it's very important, not just because of what it means for the government and being infiltrated and the blackmail, but literally for children. And there's so many children involved with this stuff. It's insane. And it's unfortunately not the only case, but trying to keep up with the information as it's coming out, it's impossible. They want you to be confused. They want you to feel so discouraged by like the revolving door of trauma in the news that you give up. I think that's part of the goal, right? And I get it. I talked to so many people who, after Trump got in this second time, they were like, I'm tapping out. I just can't do it anymore. I'm like, I totally get it. But as a parent, I can't tap out. I mean, there's other reasons other people have. My reason is like, my kids, I have to understand the world they're inheriting. had to understand how to interpret that world to children throughout the various ages that they will be. Because I'm not going to tell them everything now. They know some things, but they eventually will learn more and more. And then they're going to have to inherit this world and be like, well, you know, siphon, like kind of navigate how insane and beautiful it is. So that's, you know, why I'm doing it. But I think we just got to keep calling it out, and then also not get too emotionally attached to the information that confirms any of our biases. You know, like me right now with weather manipulation and clouds, I want so badly to have a boogeyman with this guy going around making the PR tour, Augustus. But I think it might be something even bigger and darker than his company. So,
dude, I was thinking the same thing too after watching him on Sean Ryan and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I wonder if this dude's not just a scapegoat.
I think he believes what he's saying. I think there's something worse out there. You know, I don't agree with what he does, but I don't think he's the guy doing. I don't think it helps. I think there's something worse that we can't understand, which is probably like the Epstein stuff. We understand some of it, but there's probably something way bigger and way darker. And I think the people in office right now are probably seeing just a bit of it, and it spooked them. But it remains to be seen.
Yes, yes. And I agree with everything you said about being a parent, man. Like, it's the most important thing in this world. And so, you know, I don't want to leave the world that we have right now to my kids, man. I got 2 boys, and man, you know, I haven't been the best father in the world, man. I put my kids through a pretty rough beginning because of my choices and, you know, what I was involved in. And, you know, I really was hoping that I'd be able to raise them to be, you know, better, upstanding gentlemen, you know, better than what I was. And man, I feel like, man, I'm almost happy that I went through the shit that I went through and had to learn the shit that I had to learn in life, because I feel like I can impart that on them, and hopefully that'll make them make the better decisions. But this world is fucking evil, man. Yeah, it's just pure evil, bro.
It is. So. It is. And my father had some crazy stuff going on when I was a kid with substances, and he got clean when I was young, and I was raised with the example that he set. Didn't mean I didn't not do things, because I didn't listen fully.
Right.
But I had that in the back of my mind constantly, being like, I got to learn from his mistakes. And he imparted that on me and my sisters. And I appreciate that, because it was like we were able to learn from all that bad stuff and the things he had seen, you know, throughout the 60s and 70s. And I appreciate that. You know, I'm sure in some sense he appreciates having gone through it as bad as it was, because he was able to impart that knowledge on his kids. And then you take that plus all the crazy stuff we talk about on this show and reading the news, and try to siphon that down into the brains of our children without scaring them, you know, about the world, while, you know, giving them the good foundation on how to compete in this world and sustain it. So there's a lot going on, but, you know,
yes,
I'm glad that you're doing it and thinking about it, and we're just doing our best.
Yeah, man. Yeah, keep putting the best foot forward, brother. Yep. And appreciate the conversation, man. You guys have a great night. Oh, one last thing, Brandon. My son is also a drummer. He's a bassist and a drummer. He plays in 3 rock bands. He's 13.
Awesome.
I actually quit 3 rock bands to come out here and do this show. So hats off to him. But I couldn't do it from Chicago and here at the same time. So.
Yeah, well, if you ever want to get plugged into like the local scene around Frederick, Maryland, man, let me know, because I can help you out with that. So
yeah, we're thinking there's a lot of musicians in the Timcast Media Group, and we're thinking about collectively starting a super band. I'm not letting Chuck lead sing because he wants to do.
What does he want to do?
He wants to do that one song by System of a Down where they talk about whose dick is bigger. I don't know. It's one of those things. But I'm like, nah, we're not going to do that. But thanks, you know, for the thought.
I love System of a Down, but maybe not the best song to put out there.
Not the best song, yeah.
Yeah. Great song.
All right, guys. Have a good night, man.
Thanks, Tony.
All right, see ya.
Later. Chuck, Armenian. He's got it, you know, System of a Down, Armenian.
No, my favorite thing anyone has ever said about Chuck was actually our buddy A.K. Kamara, who said, no, it was the long-haired Hispanic guy. And I almost pissed my pants when he said that, laughing. And I told Chuck the next day, he's like, I'm not Hispanic. I'm Armenian. Everyone knows this.
It's true.
Yeah, we know. The Accountant 3 is going to be dropping with Chuck on the leads. He'll be backing up Ben Affleck, so be on the lookout for that one.
do kind of want to see him try to do that song now. I'm gonna be honest.
He claims that he can do it. I mean, I could do it, no problem on the drums. It wouldn't be a problem to do on the drums. I don't know how well it's going to translate.
Such a good drummer. That band has such a good drummer.
Yeah, he's pretty good. I like a lot of his shit. He's really good live too.
Yeah, they're a great band. Prison Song. I listened to it last week. Toxicity is a great album.
It is. Yep. That takes me back. All right, but I digress.
Let's do it.
So I have seen in chat requests for people who want to hear from our favorite Scottish lady.
Yeah, people really like Jerry.
It just so happens that we have Jerry here in the waiting room.
Seriously?
So let's give the people what they want.
Oh, that's awesome.
And without further ado,
with the feeling so pure. I see this guy in the chat.
Jerry, welcome back. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
We can. How you doing?
Really well. Nice to see you guys.
You too.
Now, where do we start? The crop circles.
Yes.
The British government. Now, you'll probably see a lot more of them because I'm like, more like, is it Bradley? I'm sorry if I've got your name wrong.
Brandon,
Sorry,
yeah.
Brandon.
Oh, you're okay.
Sorry, Brandon.
It was not the first time.
all good.
That's okay. Last time I was on in the chat, they were saying Susan Boyle. So, I mean, I wish I had her voice, but I wish I had her singing voice. But I mean, I'm blonde-haired and green-eyed, so that kind of kiboshes that. But yeah, regarding the crop circles, the British government brought out a new tax on farmers. Basically, a lot of British farmers might be land wealthy, but when it comes to liquid assets, they're pretty poor. So if they were getting money for those crop circles, I reckon that's why you're going to probably see more of them.
There is a way to make money.
Yeah. And also, the further south you go in the UK, the more airy-fairy people are. Like you'll get the people that tried to dance around, Stonehenge during the solstice. So they're all into all that weird queer shit.
Yeah, that's weird. Have you ever seen a crop circle in person?
No, I haven't, but I did see an old video that was going round online. I think it was late 80s, early 90s. Maybe it's been debunked, but it was like somebody taking, and this was obviously before all that, tweaking that you could do with videos. And it was like ball lights that were circling round in a field, and it just, this crop circle appeared.
Oh, it was a video of a crop circle being made?
Yeah, I think it's online. I think if you were to look it up, you'd be able to see it.
Interesting. I haven't seen one of those yet.
Yeah, but this was like late 80s, early 90s. Maybe if you type in the very first crop circle glowing orbs, and something might come up. Regarding Maxwell,
yes.
The newspaper tycoon in the UK, obviously had all those newspapers, and everyone that was working for him, everybody that was working for him, paid into the pension pot.
Yeah,
and then it came, and then he blew all their money.
That's right. Yeah, that was crazy. You're talking about Robert
'cause
Maxwell. For those who are just now tuning in, Jerry, is your name Jerry? I forget, or is it another name? Catherine. Okay. So Robert Maxwell, and just it's funny you say this. It's funny you're calling tonight because I was just thinking about you when I heard that Robert Maxwell changed his name in his mind to make it sound more Scottish because it's not his real name.
No, that's right. Yeah, well, of course, there's that connection with Scotland again, and all the weird shit that happens up here.
Yeah,
I mean, we've got like well, that talking about UFOs. Remember how I was speaking about Roslyn Chapel?
Right.
That's a UFO hotspot.
Oh, interesting. UFO hotspot.
I don't know.
In Roslyn, and I wonder what you guys are seeing. Are there videos
Yeah,
that
well,
you've seen or reports of people saying it's military or they believe extraterrestrials?
now you see it. I was looking geographically. Now, Roslyn Chapel's just down from Edinburgh, and my ex-husband was in the Royal Air Force. He was an electrical engineer on Tornado jets,
Huh, wow.
and we were based in Lookers, which is as the crow flies straight up, which is just outside St Andrews. You know, the home of golf.
Right.
And the married quarter that we stayed in, it used to be called Reheat Alley because that's where the jets would take off and come in, which was, I mean, they put triple glazing in, but it did absolutely nothing. um, I mean, I remember my ex-husband, he came home because they would do something like quick action response.
Right.
Like if something unusual, usually it was Russians, you know, they would scramble the jets and put them up. And I remember they were having, because he come home and he's like, oh, you know, my head's busting, because he was an electrical engineer. So anything electrical on that jet, you know, and they were saying the radars were picking up daft things like dog fights. They were getting scrambled and there was nothing there.
Oh, that's weird.
Because like I mean, they were having to strip whole systems down, thinking there was something wrong. Because if you've no radar and you're your first response for British airspace is a bit of a problem.
You cut out there at the very end. What was that? Sorry.
Sorry, I was just going to say if you can't cover British airspace, if you think your radar's faulty, it's a bit of a problem.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Because they were thinking, well, there's something right, okay, send them up. And not only that, you know, the British government has a fantastic habit of spending billions on absolutely useless stuff and and pennies on stuff that we really need. So you really need to have a good bloody excuse to send a jet up there that's burning thousands of pounds.
We wouldn't know anything
monetary.
about that here in America. I've never heard of a government using money that they shouldn't.
Yeah, those black budgets.
Crazy.
But yeah, well, I've got to pick two stories. I'll be very quick because
Go
I
for
know the last time that I was on for ages and it was a shame for people phoning it.
Oh, it's okay.
I've got two stories. Actually, I've got one story. Have you heard about OB1 Nairobi?
Nope.
No, that's a new one.
This was an SAS guy who I don't know if you heard in the news. There was terrorists in Nairobi, like a shopping mall, and there were one guy blew himself up outside the whole area. There was like restaurants around it. There was a hotel. There was like little businesses like beauty salons and things like that. Now, America and Britain it's like an ally, Nigeria, and so they were in Nairobi, and this special air service guy was based there, and he got a call. We're having trouble at this shopping mall. Could you come over? So he said, "Yeah, sure, no problem." The guy's name was Christopher Craighead. And so he jumps in the car, he drives towards it. For some unknown reason, and this is what got me, for some unknown reason, he saw this guy standing at the side of the road, so he picked him up. And the guy was all smiles, gets in the car, hello, blah, blah, blah. And the drive off, he says, where do you need to go? He says, I'm going in this direction. He says, just stop, drop me off at the nearest village. And the guy went, okay. And then he turned to the guy and he's smiling. He's very, very personable, chatty. He says, what's your name? He says, I'm Chris. He went, hi, I'm whoever. He says, how old are you? And he says, I'm 43. He says, I'm 43 as well. He says, when were you born? He went, September. He says, I was born in September as well. He says, what date? And he said, the 15th of September. And the guy went, well, I don't know when I was born, but might as well be the same day. And then he reached in and pulled out this great big dagger, and it was a curved dagger with like two prongs at the end of it. And the SAS guy who was sitting, he says, I never felt frightened. He says, you're not going to hurt me, are you?
Did we lose you?
He was going to where?
He was going to Nairobi. He was going to a shopping centre in Nairobi, the SAS guy. But he picked this guy up. He didn't know who he was. You don't know why he did it, because obviously he had to go in this direction. So anyway, this guy in his car pulls out the sword, and the SAS guy says, "I never felt frightened." He says, "You're not going to hurt me, are you?" And the man just turned around to him and says, "No, there's lots of demons on this road, and this is why I need this." And he's like, "Okay." So he dropped him off. He dropped him off at this village, but when he was in the car, and as soon as he got out the car, his foot hit the floor, and his whole face changed. Um, and he said something like, "May God be with you on this day." And it really threw him. And so anyway, he never thought much of that. But he said when the guy said it, something washed over him personally. He didn't know what it was, but he ended up going to the shopping mall, and he ended up saving over 700 people's lives that day. That SAS guy.
Wow.
And
And the thing was, the SAS guy says, "You're always taught when you're in the special forces to be focused." He says, "I've never been as focused." He says, "My hearing's never been clearer. My sight was never better." He says, and when that was over, I just reflected back to that guy I picked up in the car, and the minute he put one leg out the car and it hit the ground, and he just slowly turned to him and says, and he had this absolutely, although he says his face changed, but you could tell it's still him. He says, "May God be with you on this day."
That's
And then he
incredible.
climbed out the car and he snapped out of it, and he was back to his jovial self again.
Was this reported on soon after what
This
happened?
was I mean, by all means, look up Obi-Wan Nairobi. Nairobi as
yeah,
in
no,
the city.
it's definitely out there. This guy's name was SAS Trooper Christian Craighead, who was later
Yeah.
given the nickname Obi-Wan Nairobi after the attack. He had gone on to write a book about his involvement in the incident, which the Ministry of Defense refused to grant express prior authority to publish the book, which Craig had sought to overturn in courts. However, his appeal was dismissed. And for all of our gamers out there, this guy actually has a playable character in Modern Warfare, the 2019 version, known as Otter. That is supposed to be a representation of SAS Trooper Christian Craighead.
Wow.
That's interesting.
That's a crazy story.
Yeah, I mean, it's got here, because I wrote it down. The passenger then said, "May God bless you," many times this day. Then he stepped out of the car, and then he went back to himself. Now, when you consider what the SAS guy had been through, he was pulling people out of this mall. He shot. There was 5 terrorists.
Mhm.
Funnily enough, they were Somali. I mean, where's the connection here with Congress?
Yeah, 2 were
you know.
Somali, 3 were Kenyan.
Wow.
Yeah, and 2, the SAS guy killed 2 of them. I think one of them blew himself up at the restaurants, and the Nigerian army killed the other 2. Now, what made this operation more complex was, like in South Africa, in normal North Africa, whatever you want to call it, they have like private security. So you've got the police, they're visible. You've got the army, they're visible. Private security, not so much. They're plain clothes running about with guns. So all that complex sort of in the mix, that was one hell of a hard thing for him to sort out. And then for him to go through all that and then just think about that guy in his car.
That's amazing. That is a crazy story. I'll have to look more into that. When was that? Do you see?
Oh God.
This was it January of 2019?
Okay, all right.
It looks like January 15th.
Wow.
It looks like death toll sat at about 20 Kenyans, 1 from the United Kingdom, and 1 U.S. citizen.
Yeah.
And he did save, it looks like he was able to save over 700 lives out of that hotel.
Incredible. He was
Absolutely
blessed that
nuts.
day. He was
But
blessed.
yeah, but regarding, I'll just say one small thing as well. I don't know if you guys have heard of Madeleine McCann.
I don't think I have.
No.
A small British girl that went missing, and the stuff surrounding that regarding, it's not been confirmed, but I mean, all the things are pointing to like paedophile rings, trafficking rings, all this nonsense. She went missing in Portugal, British girl, and the weird thing about that was the mother and father were quite prominent in the media, and the connections they had, like John Podesta,
Oh,
and Freud. You know Freud, the was it psychiatrist or whatever? His grandson
yeah,
stayed just up the coast from the holiday resort that they were staying at, where the little girl went missing.
right.
And so they ended up befriending them. And there's a photograph online. I don't know if you've heard about Red Shoes.
Of course, yeah. The red shoe
Yeah,
like gang, the people wearing red shoes means they might be part of some pedophilia cult.
yeah. Basically, they say that I don't know if it's true or not. You know
Right.
these things.
I know.
The red shoes are made out of children's skin.
Right.
Well, there's a photograph online with John Podesta and this Madeleine McCann's father, and they're all standing in line. They've all got red shoes on, and they're pointing one foot out. I couldn't believe it when I saw it.
Yeah, Podesta is a weird little dude. I haven't heard of them.
Yeah,
Did they find? Did you say if they found the girl or we know
no,
anything?
they've never found her, and that was really weird. I mean, they had the Portuguese police check the room with the little girl. There was two twins, and there was Madeline, and I don't know why, but the mother and father and their friends, they were all doctors. So the mother was a general practitioner, and the father was a heart surgeon. But they were sort of in a complex, but they were quite a fair distance away from the holiday apartment. So if anyone went down in that room, they wouldn't have heard anything.
Jeez.
And I'm like, what? And
I
mean,
think I've got the
I
photo
don't.
here. I think this is the photo. I don't know if you're watching right now.
That
if
is
you
one
can
of the
see.
photos. Yeah, the red shoes.
This is Jerry McCann is supposedly the man in the beige trousers here, and all of
Yeah.
them are wearing red shoes. I don't know if this how legit this is. They all look like they have the exact same pair of shoes on.
Yeah, I've seen that
Yeah,
go
well,
around.
this is it. But the thing was, Jerry McCann was he was very much in the public eye, and but the thing was, the friends or the connections he was making with people, they were very odd people he was making connections with, and like you were saying before, Shane, about being a father. I mean, I'm a mother, and I mean, my personal dog in this fight was, I was SA'd at the age of 14.
Oh, jeez, I'm sorry.
So and so I'm like, well, you know, I know psychologically how it can affect you for the rest of your life.
Right.
So
Well,
yeah, so I mean, I think it's a lot bigger than what it is.
I think it's widespread.
It's everywhere. It really is everywhere.
It really is.
I mean, you'll probably remember in the UK about the grooming gangs.
Oh yeah, that's insane too.
It's horrific. I mean, you've got fathers going to houses where their daughters are being I don't know what you can say because obviously YouTube and all the rest of it, but
right. I'm sure
um,
everyone listening has been following that story this year. They know the deal. It's disgusting.
yeah, so you've got fathers trying to get their daughters out of houses, police turn up and arrest the father.
Yeah,
You know,
it's insane.
you've got this girl, an assault happened to this girl. She manages to get to the police station. She explains to the police station, "You need to help me. You need to help me." They never did nothing. She didn't even get out of that police station. Then she got messages on her phone from her attacker saying, "I've got your brother, and if you go through with this, I'll break his legs. And if you continue to go through with this, I'll firebomb your mum's house." So somebody in that police station had told her perpetrator,
Right.
I mean, it's so dark. It's
so
horrific.
deeply embedded. It's like you think you can rely on the authorities, but I mean, I like to think you can, and they're not all compromised, but some of them certainly
No.
are. I was talking earlier about Jimmy Savile, like how crazy that story is out there in the
Do you
UK.
want to know something really twisted about? I mean, everything about him's twisted.
Yeah,
But you want to know something that's really funny?
let's
He
hear
was
it.
he was very close friends with now King Charles.
That's right.
And when King Charles and Lady Diana were going through issues in the marriage, he went to give them advice.
Yeah, great.
And I'm like, so what advice did he give him? If she's too much a pain in the arse, Charles, just clip her brakes and piss it out with her car.
Right.
You know?
Right. Yeah. This guy was a straight up demon. I mean, one
But
of the
see
worst.
when he was, they actually put him in charge of mental health hospitals, right? And obviously in hospitals you've got a morgue department. He was having sex with them.
Yep. Crazy. And his whole death is weird too. Wasn't he buried at an angle, like standing up?
Well, when he got buried, everybody was cracking right up here, and they dismantled his grave. So I don't know if they've dug his body up and put it somewhere else or whatever. But if I think they probably would have had to, because if they didn't, somebody would have dug that up and stuck it somewhere as sort,
Right.
as a message. But yeah, I mean.
And someone else from the BBC was just this year, or maybe it was the end of last year, arrested for like a ton of weird.
Oh, that was I can't remember his name. It's a Welsh name. But yeah, he got now. See, this is how effed up Britain is, right?
Mhm.
And Tim keeps going on about civil war in America.
Mm.
No, it's going to kick off here first, I reckon.
In Britain, why so?
In the UK, it's going to kick off.
Why do you think?
Well, we had a wee flashpoint when 3 girls got stabbed by. And well, he was born in this country, but he was a child of immigrants, and he had mental health problems. He went to Taylor Swift dance class and stabbed 3 girls and injured another 8. And there was riots for 2 days after that. Yeah, there was riots for 2 days after that. They arrested one woman, put her in jail for 2 years and 3 months for a tweet.
That story.
And then you've got people who've raped 12-year-olds who are on release for 12 months.
It makes no sense. I mean, the only sense it makes is that the people in charge don't care and actually encourage it and probably participate in it. I don't understand. I can't make sense of it. It really is totally illogical, but makes sense, I suppose, if they're evil, which is all it is.
Yeah, I mean, it gets me so angry. I mean, one side effect through what I've been through, I have noticed that, is rage. And try not to. I try to be, but I get so angry so fast. Right. Because it's like a personal thing for me because of what I've been through. And if there was ever a country that could commit suicide, I think Britain's on its way there.
Well, you might be in competition with Canada, but you do have
That's very
grooming.
true.
You have the grooming gangs to a much bigger degree, and it's smaller. It might be easier, but Canada's got the MAID program and all this stuff. It's dystopian everywhere you look. It's just getting stranger. This is why I keep saying I feel like we're getting to the edge of some new revelation, existential crisis as a world, as a whole civilization.
It's definitely constructed. I mean, and planned. I mean, I remember, God, years ago, people would say, "Have you seen the news?" And I'd be, oh, why would I want to watch the news? I'm doing this or whatever. Or politics, not interested. But see, in a week, the amount of news, and I don't know if it was since COVID, but we were getting like a year's worth of news in a week.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I can't.
Have you ever seen Clockwork Orange where they have the guy's eyes open with the
Emotionally beat
machine?
us down, beat us down. It's like they're prepping us for something. And I don't know what the hell it is, because you would not do that to your country. They wouldn't do what they're doing or what Biden thought we're doing. You wouldn't do that in America to your own people. Like the British, you wouldn't do that to your own people.
It only makes sense if you feed off human suffering, which I think a lot of these demons do. But yeah, that's crazy, crazy stories, Catherine. I appreciate you calling in with these wild stories. I want to look into them. I want to know more about Madeline and the Nairobi story. So thanks for calling in, and I hope you call back. People love hearing you and your stories, and we appreciate you taking the time to talk to us.
Well, thank you guys, and you have a great night again as usual.
Thank you.
All right, we'll see you next time.
The next coast to coast.
That's high praise. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Have a good night.
We'll never
You
be
too.
Art Bell, but that's amazing. Art Bell was the man. But it is cool to hear that, and we love taking the phone calls. It's amazing. And for those who are just now joining us, we have about 15 minutes left, 20 minutes left. Our phone lines are open. 20 some odd minutes left, so we have some time for some more phone calls. Love to hear from you. Again, if you're just now joining us, we are here for you to tell us your strange and wild stories. Something we don't know, something we do know, something you can't explain. It's been an incredible few weeks of hearing so many wild stories, and we're grateful. So, do we have any other people lined up?
Yeah,
Let's do it.
one or two.
Let's do it.
Um,
We might have a guest this Thursday too,
yeah,
in this room.
yeah.
So that'll be fun. And I'm working on a few other guests. So some of these days we might have a beginning of the episode where it's not me just ranting about the Epstein case, but someone in the room, and maybe they'll rant about the Epstein case. No, I have someone who's really into and investigating the cloud, the weather manipulation stuff. I have also, I'm going to put it out there. I haven't said anything yet. Here we are. Right, anyway, I have been in touch with the people who are doing all the PR for Mr. Augustus Dorico and the cloud seeding situation. I did hear from them once. Maybe they will get back to me. I have said some not great things on Twitter, and I take none of them back. But I would like to talk to him. I don't think he's done a proper interview yet where I can there's things I need to ask him about what he's putting in the sky. And you know what? I'm not going to give it away. I need to ask you, Augustus, when you get here. But there are things he hasn't addressed yet. And I've seen he's done so many interviews. He just did a new Sean Ryan one. And I there's just something about him. Like I said earlier, I believe that he believes what he's saying. But there's a lot of stuff he seems to be missing. And I'd love to get into that with him. So we'll see. He might be on the show. Perhaps.
I guess we'll see. Also, where is it? I gotta find it. I wanted to do a shout out to the homie Project Mayhem for attempting to get Fred Durst's attention and get him on the show.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Amazing.
Freddie D, I'm calling you out, bro. You got to come on the show. If you make the journey, I will personally go and buy a red St. Louis Cardinals hat and wear it for the duration of the show and
Incredible.
immediately retire it afterwards and never wear it again. But I will do that for you. Only if you show up. You heard it here.
Awesome. Shout out Project Mayhem. We appreciate that.
Yeah, thanks,
That's
buddy.
incredible. I listened to some Limp Bizkit this weekend. It was great.
I did too, actually.
Where-
it was like
where
one
did
of
you
those
go?
things. I was actually listening to him while I was redoing the studio here over the weekend,
Awesome.
and
What album?
it definitely made me probably a little bit angrier at some of the things that were happening than I should have been. But you know, we
You're
got
like,
it
I want
done.
to break stuff.
Yeah. We definitely
Do it all
almost
for the
got to the
nookie.
point to where I broke something, but actually I did break a few things, not intentionally, but we fixed them, and that's all that matters. So
Perfect. Well, it looks great. I love it.
yeah, it seems does it feel bigger
It
in
feels
here?
great in here.
It feels so much bigger
Yeah.
in here, doesn't it?
The coffin got bigger. Now.
It didn't though. We just moved a couch. That's
Yeah,
really
seriously.
it. Got Shane a desk and stuck him in the corner. You know. Nobody puts baby in the corner.
I'm better over here.
Yep, and we can actually we're sitting across from each other. Now.
It's
We can
weird.
actually have a
This
conversation.
is the first time I've ever seen you.
Like, what's up, dude? You know,
it's nice to have you in the room.
Crazy.
It's great. Great. We got a little spot over here for the guest. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, we'll
So
get to
looking
test
forward
that
to
out Thursday, hopefully.
Yeah.
Where we should have a live in studio guest. We're working out the details for that. We're not going to give too much away right now, but
It's not Fred.
It's not Fred. I can tell you that right now, unfortunately. So sorry to pop everyone's bubble there.
Not yet.
All right, let's get back on the Fizzone. I want to bring in Ring, who's been waiting patiently, and we appreciate it. Ring, you're on the program. What is up?
How's it going, guys? Can you hear me all right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, how you doing?
Hello? Mic check.
We can hear you.
I'm okay. How are you guys doing?
Good. What's
Chilling.
up?
Well, I just want to tell you about another story out of my past. This is like kind of a paranormal encounter. It's about 30 years ago. I think I was about 15 at the time. And me and my friend Darren, we had a Ouija board. And it was of the Parker Brothers era, pre-Hasbro buyout, a long time ago. So we got this thing out, and I was pretty skeptical. And he's like, "Oh, let's play with it. Let's see what happens." And I was like, "Okay," but I had done some, I don't know. I was like, "Well, let's just try and unplug some stuff in the house. Let's like get some candles out. Let's if we're gonna do it, let's try and do it." And we're sitting across from each other. We put our hands on the planchette thing, and we keep asking for a spirit to come on the board, and trying to do the things that we've seen other people like on media and stuff like that do. And nothing was really happening. And then it started to move around, and it kept going to yes, and then what's your name? And it spelled out GERT, GERT was the name it gave us. And I was kind of skeptical at this point. I thought, he was moving it around. He was trying to, trick me and stuff.
Right.
And he just kept saying that he wasn't. And so, we put our hands back on it, and it slid down to goodbye. And, I was like, okay, well, that's weird. And then we set it back in the center of the board, and it slides down to goodbye again and again. And it, like a few times, 5-6 times, it kept going down to goodbye. And that's when I kind of got like angry and insistent at the Ouija board. And I pushed down on the planchette and said, like, "You're not going to say goodbye again." And then I could see the fact that his fingers weren't really on it anymore, because I pushed the board down a little bit, and I could feel it sliding under my hand away from me. And as I push it down, the candles that we had sitting beside the board all shot up like 3 or 4 inches. And as that happened, I felt a shock. Like I would describe it as like it felt like an electrical shock in the joint of my right shoulder, like right in the ball of the joint. And when that happened, I reached out and I grabbed his arm, and he said, while I was staring at him, I was like just terrified. He said all the color drained out of my face, and it looked like I was really scared. And then the shock happened again, and he felt my arm jump as I was holding him. And then we put the Ouija board away and didn't play with it anymore.
Did the pain persist at all, or was it just there and gone?
It was there and gone. But here's the thing, Shane. Now it happens in other occasions, and I think that it's like maybe I'm a little nuts or whatever, but I think maybe this is like a spirit touching me in my shoulder, and like sometimes it'll happen to me when I'm, unexpectedly. It just happens unexpectedly.
Totally unexpectedly, or is there typically like something similar is happening to you each time?
No, it's not like when I'm walking through a graveyard it happens or anything like that. It's just going about my day doing anything, and then occasionally I get a pulse in my right shoulder.
And when you mentioned earlier the distinction of the Ouija board pre-Hasbro buyout, what is the importance there?
I don't know. I was kind of looking up the history of Ouija boards before I called in, and like what's the earliest use of a planchette. It's about 1,000 years ago in recorded history. It was earliest recorded written history is in China. It wasn't the modern interpretation of what we think of as a Ouija board wasn't invented until like 1890 in Baltimore. Kennard Novelty Company talking boards, or Elijah boards, which was then the rights to that were purchased by Milton Bradley, who then sold the rights to Parker Brothers, who got bought up by Hasbro. More or less just kind of like putting a flag in the timeline of the history of Ouija boards is
great.
The significance.
No, it's great. It's such an interesting history. And then it's so weird that it became something like mass produced.
Right.
And then what was up with Gert, you think? Did you ever look into that?
We tried to look it up. We never really found any solid conclusion. I kind of figured it might have been Gertrude.
Yep.
That's the only thing I could think of a name that would be Gert.
Yogurt? Maybe his name was Yogurt.
Maybe, yeah. Well, the Gert though, it wasn't
right.
UT. So I'm
hipster spell.
But it did spell it out twice. We got it to confirm its name. It did spell it out twice. But like I said, even at the time when that was happening, I was like, Darren, what are you doing, man? I'm not. This isn't. You think you're being funny. You think I'm going to believe you. This isn't real, man. And then it wasn't until I pushed down on the planchette and I could see his fingers weren't really barely touching it, and I could feel the thing sliding away from me, still trying to go back down to goodbye. I was like, oh, okay, that's something's actually happening here now. I actually, and then it sounds like an exaggeration, man, but it was like the amount of pressure I pushed down on the planchette, the fire on the candles raised up like a proportionate amount in height.
Did you play with this ever again?
Well, we told the story to a few people, and everyone else was very skeptical. We brought the Ouija board over to another friend's house and tried to get it to work. It didn't do anything. So
wonder what that is.
Didn't work again, but we never tried it again at his house, and it was very scary. It was very scary.
Yeah, that's a weird one. I mean, we've heard some weird Ouija board stories in this show. We've heard about the one being burnt. Remember that one? And an egg popped out of it?
Yeah, this guy said an egg came out of the Ouija board and they kicked it.
Yep. I have not messed with Ouija boards. I do love the word planchette, though. It's one of my favorite words. Such a nice word. And I did talk to someone, this like witchy girl, who said she played with a Ouija board and like a demon entered their bedroom, her and her friend, and crazy story.
I'd be more excited for the egg. I would take it and go cook it. I love eggs.
It is certainly, I think it's your intention of trying to bring something to you. You're kind of like opening the opportunity for something to come and screw with you. Yeah. So I think there might be something to that.
I agree. I just don't feel like we should be conducting these sort of rituals with Ouija boards. They weirded me out even when I was younger, before I had any faith in anything. But they're fascinating, and people take them very, very seriously.
I mean, when you get right down to it, it's just another conduit for energy, right? I mean, I'm just like everybody else that's a skeptic with these things. I think most of the stories are bullshit. I played with them a couple times as a kid, and it was always just me and my friends trying to haze another person and get them to think that, but like, I've never experienced anything, and I'm not calling anyone else a liar that's ever seen anything like this. But personally, I think it's just another conduit to fuck with energy that you're not supposed to be messing with. So
you got a shock.
Yeah.
You know, that's energy.
And I totally agree, man. Like I really thought that he was just kind of screwing with me and trying to get me to like believe some nonsense when we were doing it. And, you know, I was kind of just playing along to see what would happen. And when it was just once I interacted with it the way I did, and then the things happened in that succession so quickly that it just there was no reasonable explanation for it.
That's wild. Well, glad you didn't play with it anymore.
Yeah.
If you burn it, if an egg pops out, give us a call. Well, I
Yeah,
guess it's been a while.
maybe lay off the
heard burning
Ouija's
them
for
is
a
the
little
bad
bit, bud.
thing to do, man. I don't think you're supposed to burn them, man.
Yeah.
I think that's a real bad idea.
Yeah, there was a church that decided that they were going to burn it, and it seemed like that was a bad idea.
Oh, that was one of the callers too that said that they
Yeah.
burned it and it turned a bunch of crazy colors. And I'm like,
Yeah.
well, it is a game board filled with different dyes.
That's
so-
also true.
Yeah.
But
Very
it's
true.
also created in hell.
Hmm.
Whereas
If you
Hasbro's
believe in
located-
that sort of thing, right? That's what Shane would say. If you
I
believe
do.
in hell.
That's right. Yep.
Right,
There's
right.
some people have space, some people have hell. Well, that's an awesome story, man. Crazy story, but I appreciate you calling in.
Absolutely, man.
Later.
Have a good night, guys.
You too.
Have a good one.
Did you say you play with one, but it was just like you never had anything weird? Like,
No, it was
you
just
and your
us being
friends
dicks to
hazing
each other. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just, oh, hey, we're going to get a Ouija board tonight. I found
Yeah.
one. And oh, shit. You
Maybe
know,
you
like,
needed a pre-Hasbro Ouija.
yeah, it's entirely possible. Maybe it was still owned by Parker Brothers. I don't know.
I love that. The history of the Ouija board is fascinating. It does go back quite some time. People trying to communicate with the dead always. You know, there's that story about the theremin. I love the theremin, but I don't know if it's a true story. But the story is that the guy created the theremin to speak with his dead wife. You ever play with a theremin? Woo.
What the hell? I got to look this up. I
Oh,
don't
dude,
even know what
the
this is.
theremin? That's awesome. We used to try to play with it in our band.
Say
It's-
theremin?
Yeah, theremin. Theremin. I think could be a little wrong there. Instrument.
Sounds like something you drink to get rid of the flu.
You'll know the sound of a theremin when you hear
What
it.
in the hell is this thing? All right, hang on.
I don't think the story is true about the guy trying to contact his dead wife, but I love that they have that story connected to this instrument, and we should listen to it. Maybe even find the older video. But this is a great instrument.
What in the hell am I looking at here? This looks like a
right?
one-channel guitar amp with
This is
a
the
metal
auto pen.
tube.
This is the auto pen for the spiritual world.
It's like a tuning fork coming out of the side.
Thing is crazy. We gotta find a video. People should hear it if they haven't.
All right, let's hang on.
You'll know the sound the second you hear it. It's hard. But some people are really, really good at controlling it.
All right,
Sick, right?
this is that creepy level shit that I did not need to see before going to sleep. I will be up all night now just watching this.
Can we see if there's like old videos of a theremin, like vintage theremin? She's good though. Amazing.
All right,
The whole
holy
show-
shit!
The whole show's just gonna be that now.
I'm
Tomorrow
done
night,
with
come in.
that.
We're doing 2 hours of the theremin.
Oh
I'm
my
just gonna
God.
play the theremin for 2 hours, and it's not gonna be as good as that. It's gonna be really bad theremin, like listening to.
I have
children
no
play
doubt
the
I could
violin.
probably, as a drummer, I could probably do something with
For
this.
sure you can, because it's just two things. I forget how it works, but there's a frequency here.
You
and a frequency
apparently just
here.
need to look like a creepy jagoff
Yeah.
and just do. Yeah, I think
It's
I can do
great.
it. I
So
can probably do it.
So good.
We
Are
gotta
there-
get one.
How many people are queued up?
We got a couple of people. We probably only got time for one more. It'd have to
Let's
be quick.
Let's do one. See how it goes, and that will be the last one of the night.
Yep.
And then we will be back tomorrow night.
Let's get this out of the way. Like, subscribe, follow, share. Thank you to everybody who has joined in the last half hour while we're taking calls. We're going to take one more for the night, but really quick, we just want to mention Culture War live shows coming up. Comedy Loft DC, $30 a ticket. July 26th, the 2nd, and the 9th of August. Tickets are on sale at dccomedyloft.com. Come out and hang out, and I will be there to say hi to all of your lovely faces. Can't wait to see some of my children of the night out there. So come out and say what's up.
That's gonna be sick. Gavin McGinnis.
The last one was super fun.
Yeah, they look fun.
And we're working on kind of like after party, official after party that a bunch of us are going to go to. So if you guys get wind of that, feel free to come out, hang out, have some drinks with us. We're going to be chilling. It's going to be kind of a 3-weekend residency out in DC. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy. But all right, let's bring on our last caller of the night. I want to get Dylan in here. Dylan, what's up? You're on Inverted World Live.
Yo, what's up?
What's up? How you doing?
Good. How are you guys?
You're good.
Thanks for
Thank you
calling
for
in.
being here. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's going on?
So I got kind of a weird story. I know you guys like that kind of thing.
We do.
We go in for that here.
So I want to say, God, it probably started like a couple months ago. I've been having some sort of like out of body experiences. I was sleeping, and I'd been asleep for maybe like an hour or two, and I was getting into like my REM sleep, and I remember like my dream was very peculiar. So I was driving my car, and I was in a parking lot, like a parking complex, and I was like coming out of like a concert or something, and there was a police officer, and he started waving my car, and I was going into a different direction than like where I was going to, and as I turned, I went into this strange landscape. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the game Destiny.
I am very, very familiar with that game, unfortunately, and we'll be going home tonight to prep my builds for tomorrow's release of Edge of Fate.
Oh, all right, man. All right. So
You weren't expecting that, were you?
Oh, not at all. Not at all, man.
Yes, I am a Hunter main.
Oh, nice, dude. I was a Titan main.
Nice. Yeah, the old crayon eating guys.
Oh, dude, yeah.
The joke is Titans are crayon eaters. That's it. Super strong but super dumb. I'm not saying you are, but you know that's how it goes in the game.
Oh yeah, man. Too big to be wrong, bro.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, actually, so the area that I went into when I was driving my car looked like the Garden of Salvation.
That's a great
which
map.
you would be, I guess you would only be the only one that kind of would understand what that is. But basically, it's like imagine sort of like a techno area that has like vegetation, but it's like meshed in with machines and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I'm all of a sudden I'm out of my car, and then as time goes on, like I started noticing how real everything was, and then that was like the moment where I like woke up in my dream, and I realized I was like, oh my God, like I'm not in my room right now, like, and it was peculiar, and all of a sudden I started like crunching on leaves. I was like stepping on the leaves, and I could hear the sounds of the leaves crunching, and I like the light was getting like super bright. It was completely surreal. And then right as things were like kind of crescendoing, there was all of a sudden there were like these like bugs, like gnats and flies flying around, and like one got in my mouth. And I immediately thought of, did you guys ever see John Wick? Or not John Wick. Yeah, that's the Garden of Salvation.
Yeah, I'm going through a few pictures of it for people that don't know about this game. Beautiful
Yeah,
game.
so like literally that was like, it's almost like one for one what it looked like when I was in this space. Which I don't know if that was just something that my subconscious drew upon, or because like I don't think that like I like left my body. I think I was like still in my body, but like my mind was somewhere else. But anyway, I guess so. So anyway, there's these bugs, and all of a sudden they're like kind of attacking me, and I knew all of a sudden that there was like another presence there with me, and I remember hearing myself like in my room saying like demon, and the only reason I said that is because in it's like Keanu Reeves movie Constantine.
I love that movie. I just watched that last week, actually.
Dude, such a classic.
They need to make another one of those. That movie was great.
They're actually filming a second. Well, I think Yeah, I think they're supposed to be filming a
I
second
heard they were
one.
supposed to be, but I haven't heard
Right.
anything since, so I'm a little skeptical. But hopefully, Rachel Weisz returns. Love that woman, total babe.
Yeah, she's the one. Yana's one of the
Um,
greatest.
There's that scene in there where there's like a where he has like the little screamers, and there's like that demon that pops out, and it like takes the form of a bunch of like bugs and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yep.
And so that's what I thought of immediately. And so I like hear myself say demon, and all of a sudden I snap out of the dream. And as soon as I open my eyes, you know what it looks like when you're looking at something and then you like close your eyes and then you can kind of see the outline of it in your eyelids.
Yep.
So as soon as I like closed my eyes, or sorry, as soon as I opened my eyes, I looked up and it looked like the outline of, I shit you not, like the girl from The Ring.
Ugh.
Yeah, and so
Gross.
anyway, I literally let out a like the most girlish scream of my entire life.
You want to recreate that right now for us?
Oh, absolutely.
No. That's awesome. Yeah, I wouldn't like to see that. That sounds scary. It's weird. We had a caller named Ring just a few calls ago, right?
Yeah, that was the last caller that we had on. Was actually their name on Zoom was Ring.
Weird. So you see the girl from The Ring climbing through your eyes. How's that going?
It was terrifying, man. It was terrifying.
Yeah.
But as soon as I screamed, she like disappeared. And she was like floating above my bed. And it's weird because she looked like an outline, but I saw her very like, so I couldn't tell if it was like something was actually there, or if I was maybe just like still like kind of dreaming still. I don't know.
And were you back in your room at that point?
Yeah. So I'd opened my eyes and I was back in my room.
Interesting. So it's like your second time waking up, but the first real time.
Yeah.
And what happened next? Or you said she disappeared, or that was it?
Yeah. Well, so she disappeared, and so I mean, I guess this kind of connects to like a couple different. I think so. I kind of like my theory is that I think she's like a dark passenger I have.
Can you explain
there
that?
was, yeah. So like there was a time. So I want to say back in college. I was like one of my first times doing acid.
Yep.
I went out, and for some reason, like I was kind of having a bad trip, and I had the brilliant idea to go to the woods in the middle of the night by myself, which actually turned out to be a pretty peaceful experience because I found like a nice little patch of dirt, and then I was like looking up and I could see through the trees and like I could see the stars. It actually ended up being like a pretty peaceful night.
Right.
But I think when I was there that night, I like picked up something and brought it home with me. Because like a few years later, I was hanging out with like a crazy uncle I have, and he's very much into like shamanic stuff, burning sage. He's like kind of a clairvoyant, and it was wild, man, because we were sitting there, we were smoking weed in his apartment, and all of a sudden he kept like looking behind us, and I was like, what's going on, man? He's like, I keep seeing a shadow dart back and forth. And he was like, it's only been here since you came here.
Oh, great. Thanks.
Yeah, it was not it's definitely not reassuring. But I've had like some strange encounters, and then so I guess kind of tying this back to more recently, I want to say maybe a couple weeks after this initial encounter, same thing happened. I was in my bed and I was about an hour into my sleep, and I could feel myself starting to kind of like wake up again in my dream. And then the same thing happened. Like there was like a bug or something. It came and like flew in my mouth, and I knew she was back. And so I like kind of go to wake up, but I kind of had like some sleep paralysis. So I was like, as I come out of my dream, I could feel myself back in my body, but I couldn't really move. And then all of a sudden I felt like there was like someone in the bed with me, and I felt like they were like spooning me.
Whoa.
Big spoon?
I was actually Little Spoon.
Okay. Oh man. So
Yikes.
that's
Yeah, so they were, yeah.
yeah, that's not fun. I mean, so and you felt like it was the same type of girl, the ring girl?
I don't know if it was her necessarily, because it definitely felt like a bigger entity. But it was the same sort of like thing that happened where I was like leaving my body, I guess, like kind of lucid dreaming, and then all of a sudden there's like these bugs that fly around, and like one flies in my mouth, and then all of a sudden I know it's like like a bad spirit.
You're describing Hillary Clinton.
Is your dark passenger Hillary Clinton?
It's gotta be. It's
Oh,
gotta be.
dude,
I've heard
that's
this description
tough.
before. It was Hill Dog.
That's
Oh
tough.
God.
The flies showing up, the bugs showing up before the entities is a crazy image. That is interesting. And why do you think it was something in the woods that day? Like, are you seeing images of the woods in these out of body experience, or is it just like a feeling you have that when you went out there that night, you picked up something?
It's more of like a feeling that like when I was out there, I picked up something. I couldn't really tell you. I didn't really see anything that night, but it was kind of like, and I feel like because I was on acid and like I was a little bit more, I guess, open on a different wavelength.
Right.
That maybe I encountered something because I was more elevated.
I think drugs open up portals.
Well, it could be too, because like recently I've been like microdosing mushrooms.
Okay.
This
is not helping with the dark passengers.
I think, I don't know.
Or is it?
I can't tell, man. I can't tell. I'm kind of wondering if it's like that's what's opening me up.
I mean, I had to stop doing all that stuff because I felt like I was inviting things into my life that I did not need.
Well, in the movie Friday, Chris Tucker accidentally smokes angel dust and ends up in a chicken coop scratching himself and looking at bugs all over him in a wife beater. So, I mean,
that's real.
They've been known to make people think that there are bugs all over them before. That's
true.
for sure.
That's true. Do you believe that these, it sounds like there might be two, but maybe it's one. Do you believe the dark passenger is negatively affecting your life, or not at all, or positively?
I think she shows up in like times of turmoil, perhaps. And I don't think she's powerful enough to like actually affect me in I don't know, because there's a lot of nights where like I have pretty bad insomnia. And so there'll be nights like when I'll go to bed and I'll wake up in the morning and like I'll have like lights turned on and like, I'll just everything kind of be like in a disarray. And so I'm wondering if maybe those are encounters I have, that I don't remember.
Do you sleepwalk?
So, I don't, no.
So the insomnia is just struggling to sleep. You don't have any or as a child, did you have any like night terrors or anything like that?
Yeah, so I used to have night terrors. Still kind of do. So
those are
that's
crazy.
like where. Sorry, what?
So I was just saying those are really crazy. I have a son who has night terror or had night terrors, and they are very interesting to have to deal with.
Yeah, I mean, I like kind of there was like my night terrors had sort of like a central, I guess, my nightmares, because you don't really remember your night terrors,
Right.
but they sort of had like a central theme. It had more to do with like my psychology, like the inner workings of my mind, than it did like spiritual entities.
Okay.
And so the interesting thing with this is that I can count on my left hand probably the amount of times that I've lucid dreamed. And these encounters only happen when I like start to kind of like wake up in my dreams. So it kind of gives me the sense that like, I don't know, it feels like, because I mean I'm sort of a believer that there is, like extra dimensions, multiple things happening outside of our awareness. As I think many people, especially people here, believe.
Sure.
But I think that like what's happening is like I'm when I'm lucid dreaming, I'm kind of going somewhere else and then tapping into that sort of wavelength. And then these beings, whoever they are, if they've been following me, they're kind of like aware that I'm aware of them now. And that's why they're like making themselves known to me.
Right.
That
the arrival with the flies and stuff, like, do they have to make it so creepy?
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
that's
why you
the
gotta
thing.
do a bug in my mouth? I'm not cool with that.
Yeah, he definitely touched on something with the experience and not being able to see the whole picture. I do agree with that. I'm going to cite one of Shane's favorite bands, Incubus, has that song where they talk about the charged electromagnetic spectrum. And since the initial publication of it, that what humans believe that they can touch, smell, see, and hear is less than 1/1,000,000th of actual reality.
Right. Such a good sample. I have to listen to that now.
Which is intense to think about.
No, I think something is going on in our dreams that we can't explain. People who lucid dream, I don't think I've lucid dreamed ever, but I talk to people about lucid dreaming a lot, or going into the astral plane, and people who go to the astral plane, they talk a lot, extensively, about meeting these other entities. Some of them do worry, the ones I've talked to, worry that they bring them back. That's why I asked if you thought it was affecting you negatively or positively. I personally haven't heard any positive stories from people who've been to similar places, whether in dreams or the astral plane. But I've been listening to people talk about drugs and how they can open up people. It's really not so much shrooms. The drugs I've been listening to people talk about that open up portals to bad things are like really hard, gross drugs like meth, and all those things like crocodile and over-the-counter stuff, pills, that open up these things inside of us. But I do feel like elevating yourself with some of these substances do make you vulnerable to things, whatever they are. And I caution against it. At least I had to caution against it. I had to stop doing it because I felt like I was getting inundated with terrible things.
No, yeah, I definitely agree. I think you have to be, you should definitely guard yourself. And it's interesting, like in psychedelic communities, that I don't think they talk about like that aspect of it enough.
Right.
And I don't know, maybe some of it's like woo woo, maybe it's all just, kind of made up. But
people there's a long story of people seeing things. I mean, you talk about people taking DMT and seeing the machine elves. It's something's happening when you're taking these substances in different ways. But,
I mean, even general anesthesia too. There's a lot of talk. I know when I was a kid and I was going through all those operations, my mom told me a story about me talking about seeing a man walking around on the ceiling when I was in recovery, still on the anesthesia. I don't remember any of that shit personally, but she said you were looking at the ceiling and pointing, and you said there's a guy up there and he's just walking around. And I honestly can't remember it, if I'm being honest, but that creeped me the fuck out because I was like, what? Like, I saw what?
That's creepy.
So, yeah, man. Drugs are bad.
But do you feel like now that you're microdosing, you said it might be helping with this?
Yeah. I haven't had any experiences for the last couple months. And it's funny, actually. So Paul Statements was just on Joe Rogan.
Yep.
And he's like a mycologist and very big in the field of psychedelics and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And he was talking about his protocol, one of his best protocols for microdosing, which is to take like a microdose or a museum dose right before you go to bed, which is kind of what I've been following. And I've been having like, I don't know if it's been affecting my dreams in the same way, but I haven't had any of those experiences kind of since I started doing that. So I don't know. It's interesting. Like, I don't know if that's like a buffer or if it's maybe my mind is just like doing something different when I'm asleep.
Right. That's interesting. Well, yeah, I mean, there's also lots of studies out there about people doing microdosing and stuff to help with certain PTSD and stuff, and other traumatic things. And it seems to really be helping a lot of like the soldiers and stuff.
And mushrooms alone are showed to have like holistic and healing properties and stuff like that too. And I'm not talking about that matcha shit that you buy on Facebook. Like I'm talking about actual, mushrooms. But
yeah, I think everyone's different. I have to stop, but I've been hearing, I hear these stories from soldiers who have seen some crazy stuff and are microdosing or taking shrooms, bigger doses, and it's helping them in their trauma, which is a crazy thing. So, I mean, yeah, you should call back and let us know if any other out of body experiences happen, or if you see the ring person again, if you think you've helped yourself. I hope it's the case. I hope you don't have to deal with it again.
Yeah, me too, man.
That'd be amazing, because sleep paralysis is not fun.
Yeah, sleep paralysis and just all the sleep shit.
Waking up inside of your dream, bugs in your mouth. None of that stuff's fun.
Well, being in the Garden of Salvation in my dream was pretty cool.
That looked nice. Yes.
That'd be good.
That looks nice.
Waking up and being spooned by Hillary Clinton, not so good.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Help me out on that.
That's when I know I'm cooked, boys.
Well, have a good night, man. Thanks for calling in.
Thanks for calling in.
All right, see you guys
later. So, thank you guys so much for tuning in. This was a great way to start the week. Appreciate it so much. For those we didn't get to, please try calling back tomorrow. We'd love to talk to you. We'll be back here at 10 o'clock. Brandon, where can they find you?
You guys can find me, as always, at Brando Inverted on Twix and Insta. Do not forget to stay weird. We'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah. Again, thanks everybody for liking, subscribing, for sharing, for commenting. It's amazing. You guys are great. Thanks for calling in. We will be back tomorrow. You can find me everywhere online at Shane Cashman, and looking forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. Have a good night.